Welcome to Connected Through Change. Men supporting menopause, two voices, one journey. Your host is Russell Betts, author of the international best-selling book, The Good Husband's Guide to Menopause, and founder of the Connected Through Change movement. Each week, you'll hear both the men's and women's perspectives, so you can understand what's really happening beneath the surface and learn how to stay steady, supportive, and connected through one of life's biggest transitions. If you want clarity, confidence, and a stronger relationship during menopause and beyond, you're in the right place. Let's begin.
Last time we touched on how well-intentioned actions, especially in times of stress like menopause, can sometimes create distance rather than connection. That really got me thinking about how, at times, our traditional approaches to problem solving might not only fall short, but can actually lead us down a rabbit hole of conflict. So, today, I want to talk about something I've been calling the art of the graceful step back. What that means, how it applies, and why it's so crucial during these transitions. It's so easy to define ourselves by our strength, to power through, to fix things. But what happens when that strength just stops working? You are standing at the kitchen counter. It is late. The house is quiet, but your mind is still running at a high frequency. You are looking at the calendar on the fridge, or maybe at a stack of mail by the door, and you can feel that familiar, sharp pull in your chest. It's the pull to fix, to forecast, to make sure that tomorrow doesn't have any friction in it for anyone else. You see the gap before anyone else even knows there's a hole. You've lived this way for so long that you don't even call it work anymore. You call it being reliable. You call it being the strong one. But tonight, the weight of being the floor everyone else stands on feels heavy. You are sitting there, mentally scrolling through the logistics of the next 48 hours, and it feels like the air in the room has grown thin. Just take a breath right here. What you are feeling right now is the natural limit of a model that was never meant to be a solo sport. It is survivable. This exhaustion isn't a signal that you are failing. It is a signal that the way you've been carrying the relationship is ready for a shift. You can let the pressure off for a moment. You don't have to resolve the entire history of your dynamic in the next 5 minutes. If the first steps of this journey were about recognizing the human scaffolding and the way competence can become a cage, today is about the recalibration. The method for this shift is the graceful step back. This isn't about walking away. It's not a fine do-it-yourself moment of resentment. It is a strategic relocation. If you are currently occupying the vast majority of the responsibility in the relationship, your partner is structurally crowded out. There simply isn't a seat for them at the table of ownership because the space is already full. The graceful step back is the intentional act of creating space so that your partner has the room they need to actually engage. It works because it shifts the relationship from a management model where you are the foreman and they are the observer to a two-person vessel. You might try a movement called holding the gap. In every shared life, there is a gap between a need arising and that need being met. Usually, your competence fills this gap instantly. The bill arrives, you pay it. The house gets quiet, you find something to talk about. To recalibrate, you might try standing at the edge of that gap and simply observing it for a beat longer than usual. Think of it like a controlled burn. You are clearing away the overgrowth of your own strength to allow the seedlings of shared partnership to find the sun. It will feel different. It will feel like something is being lost, and in a way, it is. You are trading the safety of total control for the possibility of their presence. For example, consider an area like the weekend schedule, When the time usually comes to fix the plans or preemptively solve the Saturday logistics, you stay still. You don't ignore the task, but you don't colonize it either. You allow your focus to stay with your own experience rather than rushing to manage theirs. When you do this, your posture is an invitation. You might try language as simple as, "I've realized I tend to take charge of the schedule before we've even talked about it. I'm going to step back from leading out on the plan this weekend because I want us to share the ownership of our time together." As you do this, understand that there is often a temporary drop in how things get done. The house might be messier. A reservation might not be made as early as you'd like. This is the structural fatigue of the old bridge giving way so a symmetric span can be built. If you rush back in to save the situation, you reinforce the old rhythm. Staying in your half of the vessel is what allows your partner to find their own rhythm. You might try one specific application of the Graceful Step Back this week. Think of one logistics-heavy task you currently manage entirely, something like the grocery list or the weekend social calendar. When that task would normally require your intervention, stay in the pause. Don't initiate the fix. If the topic comes up, you might say, "I'd like to step back and let you take the lead on this one. I want to see how it feels for us to share the weight of this differently." Then, simply allow the space to remain open for their contribution. You are standing at the threshold of a new way of being. The air in the room might still feel a bit still, but you've taken one step back, and for today, that is enough. You are standing at the beginning of a different kind of partnership. Clarity is the beginning. Integration is the becoming.
Thanks for joining us on Connected Through Change. Remember, it takes two voices to walk one journey, and you don't have to navigate this alone. To go deeper, grab Russell's international best-selling book, The Good Husband's Guide to Menopause. Explore the weekly blog or take the Communication Clarity Assessment at connectedthroughchange.com. Stay steady, stay connected, and I'll see you in the next episode.